How's it going over there, Ruth?
Dallas
Yeah,
and
that's
working
delicious.
grad.
Huh?
I'm working unpaid right now because I couldn't do my work during the time she was there.
Her with the goddamn coffee. I can't get my coffee from because her Ruth's at work.
She told me, gotten commented profusely, thanks us profusely. Said, I just got up on the wrong side.
You think?
She goes, that's why it's such a good day for that, because it's definitely the wrong side of the bed.
She's brutal when it's like that, Ruth. Lord almighty.
You never bad me. Or even living with someone sane.
Complaining about Alfie, she's complaining about you talking to somebody on the phone. It's their fault that she can't get her coffee. Christ almighty.
Yeah, in all honesty, she got like 2 hours of REM sleep.
Yeah.
Because she did not sleep well, so she's absolutely exhausted. But geez, take it somewhere else.
Thanks, you can come. See you later. Ay, ay, ay.
All right. See if we have any questions here. It's about 11:45, quarter of 12. Orly's moving against us right now. Let's see, I took some CNC. It's moved up pretty nicely. Flattening out a little bit right now. And I'm also in JOBY. It's moved up nicely and now it's pulled back again. You can see it's right down here sitting on the 15. So we'll see where it goes. I get into 56 on JOBY. It's 52 right now. CNC trading at about 239. And you see, do I have a set percentage or multiplier that I use for day trades versus swing trades? Not really. I mean, it's price action related. You know, for intraday trades, yeah, I'm typically gonna try to get, you know, 30 to 50% or 30 to 40%, but it just depends on on the price action and how the options are doing and what the market's doing. I don't really have any fixed percentage on that. You know, some of these I'll take, like Citigroup today. I took it off for about 40%, which was pretty good. That was a quick intraday trade, but I don't really. I'm just looking at technicals on it, and so I don't. In my mind, I don't say, okay, I got to take this, I take that. If I'm doing like a debit spread on a weekly basis, call debit spread, call put debit spread, then I'm usually looking for about 15 to 20% on a Monday and Tuesday, because you can get more premiums as the week goes along, and then 25 to 30 or 35% on Wednesday and Thursday, and then Friday if I'm still in it, and then I'm looking to get, you know, 40, 50, 60% on it. Meant for sizing? Oh, well, you know, it depends on the. It depends. My sizing is like this is dependent on the market. You know, on a day like this, my sizing's not going to be very big, because the market gapped up and it's not going anywhere. It's starting to move a little bit now. So you know, the longs are decent. So I'm probably taking an average size position right now. You know, and the ones I've taken so far, I've taken the average size. When I took Citigroup, I took a pretty good size in Citigroup this morning, because it was so strong to the market, and it was moving up so well with high volume, because I had the high volume candles here. I could see that, so I took a decent size in that. But swing trades, typically I try to keep them. Right now in this market, my position sizes are smaller than they would be if we had a trending market, because I don't really know if we're gonna keep going up. I mean, this is the SPY right now, you know, on the daily chart. So you can see what it's been doing, right? It's been rocking up back and forth all over the place. It's trying to break out here. Has it broken out? Not yet, but you notice it's getting pretty close to the all-time high up here. I think that's the all-time high right there, 691.66. That looks like the all-time high, and it's trying to move up to it there. So this, I like this 815 situation where the 8 is the white, the orange is the 15. Get the 8 above the 15, that's bullish, and it's just price of action has moved above both of them. So that way, I took in my CNC, I took a pretty good size in CNC for a swing trade. CNC is in this big, huge gap fill. You can see I got, and again, the size is in this situation. I like the setup. It's got to hold this 200-day moving average. So I took a normal size in the CNC swing trade. But day trades, you know, with day trades, you can be a lot more flexible in day trades, because you can scale in and scale out. So you can scale in for a little bit and maybe add to it, or scale in larger and then start to peel it off. You can do a lot more with the day trade. So you actually, in my opinion, you can actually take a little bit bigger risk on the day trades if you've got the setups that you want. I have to look at an O'Reilly right now. We're short O'Reilly, and O'Reilly's bouncing here. We had a really good short setup on O'Reilly. The daily chart here as it was moving down Friday, stayed below the 8. Now the 8's below the 15. This is bearish. It's still in a bearish downtrend, but look at the big candle it's putting in here today. It's putting in a big bullish engulfing candle. But am I going to get out based on that? No, I'm not going to get out unless it stays below it gets above the 15-day moving average, because I've got it till next week, and it's a debit spread. PBIO, you know, we have calls in that. You can see what it's done today. Biotechs are really selling off pretty hard today. Who knows where this came from? It just kind of came out of nowhere. But I'm going to wait to the end of the day, see where it's at. CNC still trying to grind up. JOBY just moving right along the 8 and 15 year. Hey Maxim, just closed Umcat trade at Oscar for 27 out at 35. Nice. $17 calls. Oscar. Yeah, that was a nice one this morning. It came in pretty nice. You took the $17 calls. Okay, yeah, that was good, very good. In at 27 out at 35. That's $8 on 27. Yeah, about 30%. That's not bad at all. Was the Orly position converted to a debit spread? No. No, it wasn't converted to a debit spread. It was a debit spread. I'm sorry, no, the BBIO is a debit spread. No, Orly, ORLY is straight calls. Straight calls. Oh, straight puts, I'm sorry. Straight puts on ORLY. The BBIO is the call debit spread. Here's the OSCR that Maxim took. Go back, look at it this morning. Gap up. Good relative strength. White candles, plenty of volume in it. It's a nice trade. CNC still going. JOBY pull back on me. Trying to bounce here again. I'd like to see if we get another move in it. And put a sell order on CNC at 337. JOBY, just kind of bouncing around here. No high volumes at all to speak of, so I just give it a little bit of time. And again, CNC, which is a swing, is moving up pretty nicely here. Again, I got a sell order in, pretty aggressive sell order at, where is it? Here it is. Yeah, 337. It's trading at 259 right now. It's up about 20 cents on this thing. 30 cents, I guess. Yeah, up about 10%.
Members, watching this NVIDIA NVDA is seeing a reversal to lows red on the day now. No headline for this recent drop in NVIDIA NVDA.
Still a very choppy market here. IWM starting to show a little bit more strength than the other indexes right now. Up 1.6%, pretty nice move. Q's now up 1%, just a bit over. And the SPY right now up about 0.8%. But most of this was gap up, and IWM is actually pretty strong right now. Some of the consumer defensives, which are so weak this morning, are starting to get a little bit of money going into them now. And all three have pulled back and are bouncing. Again, I'm in JOBY, just waiting to see if I can get a move in it. I'm just giving it a little bit of time, and I'm in CNC with a short-term swing here. Right, let me see if any got any questions here. I'm just kind of looking through stocks. I'm not finding an awful lot at the moment. Again, my JOBY, which is an UMCAT trade, not doing particularly well here right now. Again, I'm going to give it some time, but I might cut it off if it stays below the 15 very long. Joe, EWJ, ETF, and a D1 gap, thank you. Yeah, it is. That's the Japanese index fund right here, is EWJ that Joe's talking about. And obviously this trade's overseas. Very, very gappy. Very, very gappy. Some of these huge gap up here. In this, and it's gapped up into the gap. And here's the gap filled way up here. Pretty big move in it this morning. About 12:13. So we're into lunchtime right now. Things are slowing down a little bit. Again, I'm holding on to JOBY yet. Market just sitting here right between the 8 and 15. Triple Qs a little bit weaker. The 8's crossed below the 15 on the Qs. They're weaker than the SPY. And the IWM, which has been much stronger than the SPY right now, moving up pretty nicely. Yeah, but notice there's no big volumes here. We had a little volume here and a little bit here, but we haven't had much here lately. CNC still looks pretty good to me. JOBY, not thrilled with that, but I'm not giving up on it yet. Super gap ETF, Joe, yeah. Was the news on this, on the BBIO? It seems like a huge drop on a nice bullish D1. Yeah, it is a big drop. I don't know. I haven't seen any news. Most of the biotechs are down today. Why is that? Profit taking, maybe? I don't know. Biotech's been very strong lately. But, one candle doesn't make a trend. If it continues down tomorrow, we have the 50-day moving average down here at about 69.11. 69.11 on the 50. No, 69.50 on the 50-day moving average. So about $4 lower. Again, we're in a spread on that thing, so it goes out till next week. So I'll be inclined to hold on to it for a while longer. How's the volume calculated for yellow and white candles based on all candles, only on the candles? Time frame, it's a 50 period moving average. 50 period moving average. So average is based on, if you're looking at 5-minute candles, you're looking at the average of the last 50 5-minute candles. I mean, you can cut that down. I could cut it down to 10 or 20, but I like to use 50. It gives it a little bit more historical perspective. If I cut it to 10, you got a very short period of time in there, so you could have high volume and a high volume candle in a period where you've had way higher than normal 10 period or average, and it's not going to show up as a strong volume candle. But if you put it against 50, I think it's a more accurate comparison. I mean, people can use any people use all different moving averages and how many days they use. A lot of mine I use 10, but on the volume I use 50. That's what I've got on my chart here on my TC2000 chart. My volume at the bottom of my chart right down here. That's as you can see, that's using a 50-day moving average right there. You can see that we've had some fairly high volume in the today in BBIO, but not we had a bunch this morning, but not terribly high. I mean, we're getting some big candles, but not over exceedingly high. Here was City this morning. You see that how strong those were against. That's against the 50-day. You have to make a decision on which kind of a comparison you're going to have. And I look for most of these. I look for 120% of the 50-day average volume. You can use 110. You can use 120. You can use 125. You just want something to let you know that you're getting some increased volume.
PT. PT.
Oh, you got PT today?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know you usually had it on Monday.
I don't.
You got shoelaces untied.
I know that.
Okay. Be careful, dear.
Yes, I am. Yes, sir. Okay, my phone.
You gonna get some dry needling today?
I don't know. Ugh.
outside? Want to go outside? Good boy. All right, we got about 12:23 here, and see if we have any more questions. Market's been, I mean, it's moving up decently today, but again, it's been very choppy here. The Q's just chopping around. Q's are weakening quite a bit. SPY's also weakening now. IWM, which had been really strong, still moving up. IWM, the Russell 2000 outperforming the market now today. Again, I'm in, had a nice profit in C this morning. Citigroup, that was a beautiful UMCAT trade. I'm in JOBY right now as another UMCAT trade. It's not working right now. And I'm also in CNC as a swing trade. Next week's expiration that I've got here on the chart, on the post. CNC moving up pretty nicely. And I'll probably cut JOBY if it doesn't get back up above the 15 pretty soon. The 8's still above the 15 on it, but it just drifted down below it here right now. Market internals, by the way, are moving up. The market's moving down. We have a little bit of a divergence with the market internals and the market. So I'm likely going to hold JOB for a bit. It's against me, but again, it's a UMCAT trade. Again, I finished up my UMCAT testing over last Friday. I got 106 trades in it. I have 94 wins, I think, 3 scratches and the rest losses, but it's a pretty good win rate, close to 90%, about 89% win rate, and $500 per trade for the most part. I had a couple of them that was more than 500 because the price of the options were more expensive. The options were more than $500 per trade, but very few of those. Most of them were $500 per trade. Come out to about since November 17th, profit of a little over $10,000. And 500 per trade is pretty low, so that's pretty good. Okay, let me see here. Joe, you use 0 for day trade and 30 for swing. Okay, you're looking for the volume on a quick 5-minute chart. Yep. Yeah, and you can do that as well. I mean, you can adjust your volume, average volume. When you're looking at it on a day chart, a day trade, a 5-minute candlestick, you're comparing it to. He's using it for 0, so he's just looking to see if the current candles are bigger than the previous candles. In other words, looking for an increase in volume from one candle to the next. And everybody has different methods they want to use on these things. Yeah, right. And Joe said just be consistent. ASTS bouncing off the VWAP. Yep, it did. It's also right against resistance, 88.93. Be careful here. This is where it's getting stuck. Hey Pat, can we do scans for that trade with TOS? Can you do scans for the UMCAT trade? I'm trying to build one for UMCAT. The thing is, it's hard. I was trying to do a scan over the weekend. I added one for down here. These bull trades. This one wise bull, one wise bear are for swing trades. I was trying to do a kind of a scan that showed increased volume and stocks either going up through the VWAP 15 or the 8, or down through the 8, the 15 in the VWAP through the VWAP the 8 or the 15. Any one of those three, looking for a break of one of the support resistance levels. But I didn't have much luck with getting it. Again, I'm not a programmer for Thinkorswim. But it would be nice to come up with some sort of a trade that didn't produce too many results that you could use for UMCATs. But the thing with UMCATs is they're so quick. They're so quick. I have a couple of scans in TC2000 that I use for them that are pretty good. And what I'm looking for is 3 stacked green candles and 3 stacked red candles. I'm looking for relative strength or relative weakness to the market. I'm looking for increased volume, and I'm looking for a break of the VWAP or the SPY or the 8 or the 15. But it doesn't have to be. I can take trade of an UMCAT trade without a break of any of those resistance or support levels. Nice PBO and HYMC, Sarang, HYMC. Yeah, it's a nice daily. This is gold. This is gold. And gold is strong today, yeah, so it is a PBO. There it is right here, HYMC. Nice PBO in that. Again, it's gold. 5-minute chart right here. Gap up, moving up pretty nicely. Yeah, it's a nice move right there in this. A little bit of volume right here. Daily chart looks pretty good. Gold is up pretty strong this morning. See the big gap up, and silver with the same thing, gapping up. But see, notice silver's just putting in a doji sandwich. So just be careful. HYMC is gold related, so it's going to be related to what gold does. Whoops. If I can put in the right ticker. Yeah, there it is. Nice look on that one. Anything gold and silver is fairly extended right now. There's GOBY with a little bit of a pop. 10 period, Joe? Okay, 10 period. Gotcha. Not 0, but a 10 period. Does an UMCAT need to have a good D1? It doesn't have to. It doesn't have to, but it helps. When I took Citigroup this morning, this was the daily chart in Citigroup when I took it. So in all this, when I took it this morning, first of all, the sector was strong. All the banks were moving up. It had a good. You see the daily chart; it was really good right here. And what I got this morning when it moved up, see the huge volume here. This is where I took it, where I get this big volume in Citigroup, and continuing. It's still continuing up pretty nicely today. So that's what I like that one. JOBY. If I look at the daily chart on JOBY. It's a decent daily chart. This is not a great daily chart. This is not something I'd really want to swing. It's just too choppy, too things that's up and down. But this candle is nice today through the 100-day moving average. Decent volume on the daily, but also good volume on the 5-minute chart here. Right, so that's a pretty decent one. Most of the time they're going to have good daily charts, but they don't have to, because you're just trading the 5-minute candlesticks, and you're not going to be, theoretically, you should not be in it very long. The problem is if it doesn't give you profits by the end of the day, if you don't have a good daily chart, you can't even take it overnight, even if you wanted to take the risk. Yeah, Joe says the best moves for him is when you have the VWAP and the 2 moving averages are tight, and you get a volume through all of it in one candle. Sure, that's obviously the best of all worlds. If you had the VWAP up here and the 8 and the 15 right together, and you get a big volume push through all those indexes, yeah, all those moving averages. That's an excellent setup. And you can scan for that. You can scan for I don't know if you can scan for it in TOS, but in Thinkorswim you can scan for a break above all 3 of those moving averages at the same time. But it's pretty rare. You're not going to get a lot of results. Joe says usually gold, silver do not trend with oil. So be careful. Yeah, I got to be careful with oil too. I don't know what oil's going to do. There's way too much uncertainty right now on oil. Here's JOBY making a nice little bounce back up again. And CNC, we're swinging CNC. All right. See if we have any more questions. See if there's anybody over in YouTube. We got a bunch of people over in YouTube. Welcome, YouTube folks. It's about 12:32. And I'll be eating lunch today in about probably 20 minutes or so. Probably a little before 1. I'm going to look for some more trades. I noticed in my trader view that I categorize all my trades and I get specs on what days are the best, what times are the best. Looking at the trades for the UMCAT trades, the out of the money catalyst trades. A lot of good ones are fairly early in the day and then later in the day. Lunchtime is tough, and also holidays are tough. You don't get enough volume on the holidays. Although Friday was a day after Christmas, and I had 7 and 0 on Friday. 6 and 0 or 7 and 0. It was pretty good and good profits. Most of them were between about 30% and 50 or 60%. But as with any of these strategies, stock selection is key. CNC right now, getting for about 230, trading at 254 right now. Want to go side B? chop continues here. CNC still moving up now, but just kind of moving sideways. Notice the momentum's down just a bit. Not a lot, but just moving sideways. And my JOBY UMCAT trade starting to recover. I think of UMCAT, that JOB is pretty much flat right now, even. INBS, very strong biotech. 3.26 million shares outstanding. Yeah, let me look. INBS. Yeah, it was. Yeah, traded 9.3 million. Yeah, absolutely is a Momo. It's got float. Yeah, 7.3 coming 9.3. Yeah, that's definitely is a Momo trade. Just moved above the 200-day moving average on the daily chart on INBS right here. You can see the volume coming in today. Look at the volume over here, and today continuing. Something like this, you've got to kind of use your judgment on something like that because it's pretty extended, up about 78% right now. We'll probably see some white candles on it here, yeah. And I imagine the options are untradeable. Let me look. Yeah, no options. Shares, yeah, you'd have to buy shares, sorry. That's a pretty nice move in that thing. How high will it go? When will it reverse? No idea. But it is above the 50-day moving average. I mean the 200-day moving average, which is at 1305. So you wouldn't want to wouldn't want it to go below 1305. The 8 on that right now is around 1277, so it's quite a long distance from the 8. The 8 is actually below the 50, below the 200 on the 5-minute chart. This very volatile, by the way. These are pretty big candles on this stock. That candle just before it, just before this yellow candle, went from 1332 to 1449. That's $1.17 right here on this candle. So you got to be prepared for some pretty wild fluctuations in this thing. You know, it's got a lot of high volume bullishness here. This is so far as a high volume bearish candle, but as soon as if it gets above here, it's going to go right back to white again. Trading at 1427. Again, this is a very, very volatile momentum stock. Again, you don't want to see it get below the 200-day. So that's about 1304. About $1 lower. And IBNS, very, very volatile here. See, it did this here before and then it took off again. But we're still getting very high volume on this thing. And this thing can pop $1.50 in one candle. It also can drop $1.50 in one candle. So you've got quite a bit of risk on a trade like that. CNC continuing to move up here. JOBY also moved right up close to 16 again, trying to get through that 1598 level. That was a very sticky level to try to get through. Pulled right back again. Yeah, this is I'm not caring for this price action, and I'm going to try to scratch JOBY. I get in for 56, so I got a sell order at 56 right now. Probably needed to go up to into the 1590s. Would probably get me out. Very, very. Again, you see the volume's dried up on this thing. We don't have high volume right now, so there's really no reason for me to try to stay in this thing. I'm just going to try to break even on it. Again, I got a 56 sell order on it. That's exactly what I paid for it. It's at 54 right now. CNC trading at 261. O'Reilly close to $5 again on the calls, puts. And the scenarios that's Remkamar regarding taking an in-the-money trade instead of an UMCAT trade. Remember, he's saying UMCAT has a higher return. It does. It has an higher ROI because you're getting in cheap. Obviously, stock moves. It also would have a higher risk, possibly. Yeah, it does, because you're going to have a lot more time decay on your option prices than you would on an in-the-money. So in my opinion, adjusted for risk, is the return higher? Yeah, the return's higher if you take the right ones. Yeah, I mean it has been. The return has been higher, and the win rate's been about the same. So that would extrapolate into a higher reward. The scenarios we're doing it in the money instead of an UMCAT trade makes it worse. No, other than the fact that your return on investment is going to be smaller, doing it in the money trade, you're just going to be putting more money into the options. So your return is going to be smaller, generally speaking, because the out of the money is going to move obviously much the percentage gain is going to be higher. But there's no reason why, other than that it's a lower ROI. There is nothing against taking it in the money calls on them, no, or puts. In other words, we take an UMCAT on a not so great daily chart when the other criteria is met, which makes the in the money trade riskier and therefore better to just do the UMCAT trade. No, I don't think that that's the case. I mean, if you'd be taking an in the money, if you're taking an in the money call on a for a bearish stock that's bearish on the daily, then you're trading against the daily chart. So it can't be a swing. But if you're doing a quick trade on the stock based on the 5-minute chart, and you take an in the money call instead of an out of the money call, it's probably going to work just as well. But the percentage gains are going to be small. That's the whole point with doing this UMCAT, is try to be able to take fairly small option pricing and move them up quickly, so your ROI is a lot if you get the right stock. Yeah, that's what why I put this. That's why I'm putting this strategy together, because some of these stocks are not practical to take in the money calls if they're going to be too much money. Where the out of the monies, even though they're fairly far out of the money, you can get a good profit in it. If the stock's moving in your direction without taking without putting so much money into the in the money calls. I mean, it's not for everybody, and it's not for every trade. Obviously, you shouldn't be taking out of the money calls or out of the money puts or out of the money calls most of the time. It's highly recommended against it, except in these specific UMCAT trades. And they have some similarity to SPY super system trades. I mean, you can take a SPY super system trade. See, I wouldn't do out of the money on the SPY's Qs or IWM, because with the stocks you're trading a stock that's got high volume, got relative strength or relative weakness versus the market, all right, and it's got a big move and usually a good chart, all right, and it's more likely to continue than the SPY is likely to continue. You get a lot more choppiness in the SPY. You don't have any relative strength or relative weakness to lean on. So, I mean, I know a lot of people like to do out of the monies on the SPYs, but I don't do that. I've tried it before, and there's just too much likelihood of it moving back against you too quickly. And you've traded these SPY Qs and IWM, you know how volatile they can be. With stocks, you can sit on them a little while, especially if you get stock that's got good relative strength. It's INBS, by the way, that I already pointed out, just all over the place. You got up to 1496, pulled right back down here to about 1371. Again, 200-day moving average in this is 1305. A lot of just sideways movement right now in the market. SPY just bouncing around. IWM holding up pretty well. Triple Qs coming back down. No high volume candles in any of these things right now. JOBY trying to bounce, trying to get me out. And looking at the market internals right now, they're drifting up. I don't know if how this VOLD is working. I'm going to talk to Sergio today, so I'm going to see what we got here. Yeah, it's back to working again. Right, so this is now good. CNC moving, a lot of compression right now. Graham Kumar, is there a scenario where the market makers can kill the theta and trade out the OOM premiums? It doesn't seem to be the case in your trades, but you're an expert at another level, which is very hard for most of us to do. I mean, you know, the theta is the time decay, right? So I would say that I don't know that they can do anything like that. I mean, listen, these are quick trades, all right? And you want to watch what the spreads are when you take these things, because you want to try to take anything that's too wide a spread if you're just looking for a quick move. But I wouldn't worry about the market makers in these situations. No. In the bright side, if a percentage of all your members takes even 10 contracts on a 50-cent UMCAT, $500 in itself can move the needle on an already strong move. No. It's not enough. It's not going to do it. No. Might move it a penny or something, but it's not going to do very much. Especially if the volume is high on that. I mean, if you're taking 10 contracts and we get percentage of members taking 10 contracts, no. It's generally it's not going to move the price. Shy, Bitcoin coming back after a big pullback, heading for the 50. Thank you. Sarang, you like IVZ, but it doesn't move very much. Thank you very much. ARR also could be nice. Came down to the 8 and bounced off of it. ARR. Let me look at ARR. Yeah, it's an okay chart. It's not very. This thing doesn't move an awful lot. You can see this move here. I think, you know, down here is where he has to catch something like this. I don't know. Right now, I don't have a lot of confidence in continuations in strong stocks. I do like CNC, but again, I'm being very hesitant to put a lot of swing trades on, as we still got this SPY doing this, coming up here to where we're going to start running into the resistance here at this 669.70. Looks like we already got pretty close to it already. You see the Qs just coming above the 8 here, above the 50 and the 8 with the 50. So again, this is not a runaway market here by any stretch of the imagination. IWM's coming up, but we are trying to put in a bull run here. But you can see we've done it several times here recently and just came right back again. So that's why I don't want to have an awful lot of swing trades on. And, you know, I've taken CNC because the risk reward on this thing is so huge. I mean, this has got a big really move to the upside here that it could take if it works. GOBY with a candle there, that probably get me out. Let me look. Let's see, JOBY. Yeah, I get in at 56, I get out at 57, so I made $1 on that. Not much. 1 penny. So technically it was a win, but I wouldn't call it one. Okay, I'm going to get ready to get some lunch, everybody. So thanks again to the YouTube folks for being here today. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for looking in on the room. Again, you can go to rightlinetrading.com to get the info on being a member of the room, the options service or the alert service, and you see what we do in the room. And this is the software that you can buy. This is the SPY Super System right here, which I'm going to be adding the colored candles to tonight. White high volume candles, yellow high volume bearish candles, white high volume bullish candles. And I got a couple of new scans as well for looking here, one wise bull and one wise bear. Those are looking for swing type trades, for potential swing trades. Okay, so there's where you can do that. You can also call Rory at 786-732-4656 and talk to him about joining up. Thanks very much for being here today. I appreciate it. And we'll be back here again tomorrow around 11:30. Have a great afternoon. Trade